I'm sitting down here with several October pages that need to be done, so I'm just going to kind of work my way through those as I talk to you about what I'm doing. And some people will feel a lot of pressure about getting behind, and it doesn't really bother me because it just means I'm just going to have some big fun catch-up time sometime. And so that's what I'm doing today. I'm just doing some catching up on some pages and working on a variety of them. Here you see I'm using a bunch of my Patreon images from October that I'm just kind of filling in this page. This is, at this point, been a while back that this page has been blank, and I had started it but never really finished it. And so I'm just kind of filling it in with some images from my Patreon sheets. This crazy looking face that I'm putting down is one of my doodle heads. I've just, I don't know, gone a little crazy making those doodle heads. I just really enjoy making them, and just, they just somehow express to me life is not perfect, and they just are kind of wonky, and I don't know, something appealing about them to me, and I've been really enjoying making them. So like I said, I'm skipping around. I have a lot of hit and miss. I have pages started that I haven't finished, and a lot of pages to do. So I'm kind of working just my way through, jumping around as I find things and think of things that I want to put down. This little birthday image, my daughter-in-law's birthday was that day, so I made note of that. These numbers that I'm cutting out are by James Burke, and I really like these. I've really enjoyed using them. They're just, he squirt paint out of a bottle or spread them with a palette knife or whatever, and made these numbers out of, they're really kind of dimensional looking. They're just really fun to use. So I'm putting down the number 600 here because I hit 600 subscribers on this day. I'm painting some lines, some journaling lines that I like to use here on the left side, and that just helps me. I tend to write too small sometimes and don't always have that much to say, so that kind of helps me space out my letters a little bit more. A while back I swatched out the reds that I have in my little paint selection here, and realized I have so many that are so close together. I just scanned that paint swatch and used that, included that in my Patreon images. But I need to go weed out some of those and replace it with maybe some colors that I don't have at all in my little palette. So I've got to decide which ones I really like. I've been using these plastic storage envelopes that I got from scrapbook.com to organize my little tidbits in. So like this folder is all my own current Patreon pieces, so it just helps me sort out. I also have others that are sorted by categories, and it just makes it a little easier for me to find what I'm looking for. I'm pulling out my Hobonichi cousin to make quick reference of what I did that day. So I usually have a pretty complete to-do list in my week section, and that's usually what I look back to see what all happened that day. I pulled out some stickers from Sticky Club here, and I'm using those to make kind of like a little space filler, but these girls all have different expressions, and so I just kind of picked ones that matched the day. I put some raindrops in there because it was a very, very rainy day. So I added a little umbrella to one of the girls to look like she's holding an umbrella. I'm kind of going through these pages and just adding some finishing touches, like a little bit of washi down at the bottom of this page that looked a little bare, and some odds and ends stickers here and there. Now moving on to some pages that I hadn't finished because I didn't have the pictures printed for them, and now I have the photographs from the event. It was really fun. It's called Shakespeare on the Porch, and it's a family that puts it on, but they use lots of other kids too that participate, like high school and younger down to young children. My grandchildren are in it that are 6, and 2 6-year-old twins and an 8-year-old, and they were all in this, as well as my son-in-law. It was pretty fun to go watch that, and they do it actually on their front porch, and it's very well done production, so we like to go to that every year. So that happened on that night, and I had just that day got in some stickers from Sticky, and they had these little Shakespeare books, so I of course had to put those in there. And I love this little notepad of the owl kind of relaxing in a cup of hot coffee or hot chocolate or whatever it is, and so I thought that would be cute to put on the page, and I put the date and the day on there as well. And I just love those little notepads, those cute notepads that come in the sticky packs. These pumpkin dates are from my October Patreon collage sheets, and so I cut out one for the 16th there. I'm using some washi tapes to create a tip-in. I'm adding in a day of the week that was from a past Patreon sheet, and I cut it apart because it did not fit all straight across, and so I often do that. I'll just make the little collage elements work for what I need by trimming them or using just part of it or whatever. I'm trying to decide now what else to put on this page. I did recently give myself, I listed a bunch of stickers on Etsy, and I actually gave myself one of each, and so I'm trying to be mindful. I haven't got into those yet, but to not hoard those. So you will see me eventually digging into that stockpile and choosing something to put on this page. So this owl is actually from a Patreon sheet, although I do have it in a kind of a different form as a sticker. And I'm just kind of winging it here, and as usual I changed my mind a few times before everything's set in stone. So I peeled back to the washi and decided to trim it so that it doesn't overlap where the branch goes for this owl. Under the tip-in, I love this coffee sticker. I don't know if it's the colors in it or what, but it's one of my vinyl stickers that's in my Etsy shop, and so I let myself use it in there. And then I'm journaling about the tip-in. I thought was a perfect picture for some planning my husband and I had has become, whenever we have a Saturday morning available, we spend it doing some planning and figuring out and goal setting and some things like that. So I just journaled a little bit about that on this page. I thought that picture was perfect. It's a little fall table with writing in a journal and coffee, and such. I also put my dish stickers in here because we had some house cleaning to catch up on, as is also usual on a Saturday. I'm just using Tombow marker here as watercolor, and that's just one of the quickest and easiest things to do for watercoloring. The Sunday the 17th, the page was pretty well done, but I did want to commemorate that my daughter and her husband had come over for supper that night, and it had been a long time since we'd seen them, so that was really fun to catch up with them. And I used a photo of them that I had modified on an app I have called Tune Me, and I thought that was a really fun picture there and kind of tied in with the colors of the lettering, so I thought that was perfect, so I stuck that in there. I love being able to add tip-ins when you don't quite fit everything you want to on a page, and I think it just makes it a lot more interesting. But it also does really bulk up the book, so that's something you have to take into consideration. Now I'm putting down one of my laundry stickers because I did laundry on the Monday. I also got some new slippers in the mail that I really liked, that I had ordered, and did some video editing, which is what's supposed to be represented on the little tablet up there. And I also got in some books I had ordered for a Mary Blair workshop that I have coming up. And I just kind of had the space left over. I'm not for sure what to do with. So here's that sticker stash I was talking about. And I'm pulling it out and seeing what I think I might want to use on this page. There's several possibilities, but I'm just kind of trying to fit the mood of the page. I finally end up not using a sticker at all, but using this reproduction vintage photo. I go with the almost monochromatic color scheme here. It's at least not very bright and colorful, and I was in a kind of a funk this evening, and so it just seemed to kind of fit to not make it all flamboyant and cheery. The watercolors that I'm using here are kind of a mix of, I believe it's Moon Glow by Daniel Smith and Opera Pink, also by Daniel Smith. And those two colors are just a little kind of unique, and I'm just sort of blending them together on this page. I am brightening things up a bit by using this Tombow marker to make a border. And again, I'm using it as like a watercolor effect, which is one of my favorite things about the Tombow marker, is how nicely they bleed out. So now it has kind of this bright pink border to it. These dates are by Pocket Journal Pam, and I chose this kind of sunflower looking one for the 19th. I also used this little Toon Me image of myself as Superwoman because this was a big work day. I accomplished a whole lot of tasks and got quite a bit done. So I was feeling a little like Superwoman. These scissors are from, I believe it was August, Patreon sheets that I made, like kind of school office journal art supply sheet. These are either by Pocket Journal Pam or Loveland's Life. I'm not sure which, but the Tuesday and Wednesday, they're real cute. And then there's some more of those numbers by James Burke that I'm sticking on right now. This sticker was from Redbubble. I ordered some postcards from Redbubble, and this really cute sticker came with my order. So that was fun. So I stuck that in there because that's the day that my order came in. I'm gluing down some little bits of paper here and writing memories and mementos because in the piece I'm working on, I'm taking time to cut up a lot of little memory keeping bits and including into the artwork. So that takes a lot of extra time, but it also feels very satisfying and meaningful. We had takeout from Chick-fil-A tonight, so I draw a little chicken sandwich and the 2 pickles that are always on there because I can't eat pickles, so I always give those to my husband. So there's always 2 pickles. So that's why they're drawn out there separately. This washi tape is one I would never probably have picked out because I'm not drawn to those bright colors, but I have ended up using it so much. It came in a package of stuff that I'd gotten at Walmart, like a little journaling kit type thing that I got when I was on a trip and just needed some supplies. And I have ended up using that so much. So just go figure. I had this little gap to fill in, and I could have put washi tape or something in there, but I decided to put a paintbrush. It kind of fit with what I'd been talking about on the page, so I just did a quick little sketch in there. I'm trying to challenge myself to do a little bit more sketches anyway, instead of relying on other things, because that's the only way you get better is if you practice. Moving on to a new page, which I haven't prepared at all yet, other than gathering some things that I've just stuck in between the pages. I'm using my sheet of full moons, which is available in my Etsy shop, and using one of those moons. There was a full moon that night, so I used one of those moons to put on the page as a starting point. The little paintbrush date is from a past Patreon sheet. And it was an art making day, and I just kind of write Thursday as if it had been painted by that little brush. I'm using the gray Sarasa from the vintage set to do my journaling here. I really like these pens. They write very nicely, and I like the colors that they're in. I worked on preparing for my Mary Blair workshop this day, so I'd gotten a sticker from Redbubble that someone had made a little illustration of Mary Blair working at her desk, and so that was perfect to put in on this day. I'm using the tomoe version of images of my grandchildren here that came over that evening, and so I'm using that to add as a tip-in on the page. I bought this art print at a recent art show from a kind of a cartoon artist, and I just love the motion in this piece and the sense of it being, you know, kind of a race type idea. So I decided to stick that in on this page. I put his business card in there with it too, so I'll remember who it's by. But I think this is a good way to I like to support other artists, and I like to have little bits of their work. I think around me is just inspiring, but I always not sure what to do with them. So I think this is a good solution because I have it there. I have it where I can flip through and see it, and I have it recorded who it's by, and I just, you know, as a way to use those cards that or prints that I don't otherwise know how to use. Here I remembered something, a phone call that I wanted to include on another, a previous day, and so I'm making a little tip in here to make record of that conversation. This is from an old clip art book, and that's a fun resource for images. I was lucky and picked up several of them pretty cheap from a print shop that had no use for them anymore, and so I just use them for images in my journals. Again, I can't stress the importance of these little sticky notes if you tend to get behind on things, because I totally would not remember what happened on each of these days without that just quick little list. So each night, even if I don't get into my journal, I try to at least write a sticky note for the day. This little taxi is from my vehicles collage sheet, and I didn't really think that'd be something that I use because I never ride in taxis, but I took my husband to work that morning, so I thought that was a good opportunity to use the little taxi. This cute little Barnes & Noble store is by Pocket Journal Pam. At the bottom, I put the little tomoe version that has a little cartoon of myself saying we can do it, because the next day is a workshop and I had a lot to get done that day after I got back home from errands. And then I put these little pile of lazy sloths. It's one of my favorite stickers. I've used it before. It's from Redbubble because I was actually just so tired I went to bed early. Now I'm moving on to yet another page. Just trimming up that sticker went off the side, or the tape that went off the side. Here's a tomoe version of my husband because he just helped me out so much that morning, the morning before the workshop, and just getting things ready and everything set up. And Then I have a picture of the workshop group, and here I'm just trimming the corner off. I have a little pet peeve. I love these transparent sticker paper and how vibrant they look, but they are very not very handy when you want to layer things, which I often do. And so I just had to trim that little corner off. So as you can tell, I'm kind of obsessed with that Tune Me app right now, but I really like how you can include pictures of people kind of without actually including pictures of people, if you know what I mean. And so just it's a representation of them. Then on the next day, there was my son-in-law as a musician, and there was a radio interview with him that I caught just the first part of before I went to church, but he did a great job, so I just drew a little old-fashioned radio on there. These numbers are by James Burke again, and then that's my own day of the week sticker that I added on there. I think this little sticky note is a character from something, maybe a Japanese character or something, I'm not sure, but I don't recognize it, but I used it on this page because it kind of looked like how I was feeling. Now I'm sneaking into some of my November sheets that I have ready, and that always happens. I want to try them out and use them before the first of the month actually gets here. So this is a birthday sheet that I made for November patrons, and so I had a granddaughter whose birthday was this day, so I wanted to include that on there. So I'm taking some images from that birthday sheet to put on the page. So she had a birthday party, and I was planning to go to it, but I just did not feel good, and so that's why I have that kind of bummed, that image I'm using to express that feeling on there. And I end up cutting out a little party hat to put on that too, because I was there in spirit, if not in body. This Galen Leather Tomoe River paper notebook that I'm using came with these little guidelines because the pages are a little bit see-through, so I'm sticking that behind my page so that I can journal straight. I've got so much going on here at different angles that I thought I might need some help making straight journaling, so that I love that. It's got 2 different size graph paper that you can flip over and use, so that's very handy. This is some new washi tape that's from the Kawaii Pen Shop. They had a sale on, I can't even remember now, but because it was so long ago, but I finally got the order in. I'm just using my lavender mild liner pen to draw in a bunch of little stars on this page just to add to the festive look. And then I also add a border as well. I'm peeling up that little transparent hat sticker to so I can add some white paint in underneath there so that it just looks a little nicer with the sticker down, so that you don't see the part through it. I think maybe I should start printing my stuff on both transparent and opaque sticker paper. So that's it for this time, and thanks for watching.